In the fast lane. Hey Cassia, how you doing, my love? What's going on? Good morning. Mr. Young, what's going on? Yeah, we're getting a little weakness in the market today. Nothing too crazy though. Overall it's looking, we're having a weak open, but we've been doing this a little bit where we kind of like at the open we'll kind of come gunning in hot. So we are right at the sweet spot, but we're opening weak. I would kind of think that, we may go red to green on this thing today. Big Brad. So I prefer a gap down than gap up any day of the week. We'll see how that goes. The market's been kind of shaking around a little bit at the open lately. So we've been getting these pushes on weakness. So we'll see what's going on. Obviously, the big news of, the day is that our boy Elon, Space Cowboy, he's been getting, I think he got an SEC letter or something like that. So, that's the nature of the game. So you've been kind of grinding higher from that 200 back to 3. Now you've broken that trend line. So, this very well could kind of come back and test the bottom of the range. What's up, Mr. Sleep? How you doing? So we could come back and test the bottom of this range. So right now we've gapped up, gapped down at the open. The SSR is going to be on. I think the level to kind of watch here is going to be this 266. That's your pre-market low. So, set an alarm there. This thing may come in hot off the gate on the dump. We won't know for sure. If it does, then we'll watch this thing for, an ORB and kind of keep that thing going. But I keep this one on the watch list because at some point it's going to dump and then it's going to squeeze too. So you're going to kind of have two different options on it. I think, I take a little gander on this one. Yeah, I take a little gander on this one if it gets under 266. But I wouldn't short it into the hole. Meaning like, if you short it into the hole, it's going to be real tricky because like what's going to happen, frankly, is you're going to have the SSR on it. You may just come kind of running back higher. So I'd be a little bit careful on it like in that aspect of things. So we'll add that to the list. I think that's going to be a good trader up and down. I also wouldn't be surprised to see this bad boy just, squeeze higher too. In the end, Elon Musk is a billionaire and SEC doesn't send people to jail, right, to give you fines. So it's like, whatever. He's going to get a fucking fine for $1 million. He's going to say, this is 1/5000th of my net worth. Don't worry about it. And, you're off to the races. Pot stocks are popping up today. This GWPH, if this thing can hold yesterday's high, you can see this thing had a sick range at the open, right? This is the kind of setup you're looking for at the open, right? You want that pop up, that pullback, and then a go, right? Mr. Mad Trays, what's up? You want that kind of pullback. So that's kind of the action you're looking for. Pop up, pullback, and then a go, right? Kind of hit that thing into ORB. If it builds over this 180 today, I think this one's going to have a little bit of juice. AWSM didn't have much volume on it yesterday, but it's been holding this 10 spot really well. It had this big push into the close. When something closes like that, you got to kind of keep an eye on it because, frankly, it's just it's going to have this like big range on it, right? So $2 on a $10 stock has got about 20%. You're starting to roll around it in that. You may have a little bit of a mojo. The caveat on this one always is going to be that the spread on this one's going to be Ganar. So, like, if you're, like, a little bit slow, I was talking to one of my students yesterday. He's like, man, my timing's been off this week. When your timing is off on your trading, don't trade stocks with spreads because if you do, you're starting to play that game in between the bid and ask, and it doesn't have the liquidity, and you're spending more time on how to get in and out of the thing versus, actually spending time on your trading. Fuck, did you guys play this one into the close? I was dicking around with this thing, and I had this thing like right here, and then I just freaking bailed and sold this thing flat, and it was like right into close. It just went ham. Coulda, shoulda, wouldas, right? Story of my life. So keep that one on your watch list too. This is gonna have a little bit of juice. You don't marry this one though. This thing come crashing down in a day or two. You know, it gets cut in half pretty much every time it has a couple down days. So don't marry this one. It's not a swing trade. If anything, it's like, you know, you take trades in a stock like this for like 15, 20, 30 minutes max with stop losses, of course. Taylor-wise already getting cooking. You know, we took a good trade at this at the open yesterday, and that gave it back. Had that awesome range at the open. Anybody hit this thing on the ORB? Yeah, so it took the ORB at the open, you know, had a really nice push on it, and then it kind of just farted around the rest of the day. And when it runs, it does this all the time. Like, it pops at the open, then it sits around all day, and then it goes a little bit into the close and gaps up. And so that's just the nature of the action on this one. Definitely something to keep an eye on. This camp could be breaking out the highs over here. We got 29 million share float on this thing. We'll have to see what the liquidity is on it, but you can start to see you're already kind of pushing pre-market on this bad boy. You're up 8% on, I believe, some type of earnings. Yeah, it looks like it's got a little forecast going. The key is going to be, does it hang out over this trend line or not? If it's under the trend line, then, you know, we can't take this thing for any type of intraday setup because it's just going to be a dead. Then I got a couple other ones. CVM triggered yesterday. So now that this thing's triggered, right, you kind of came out of this compression breakout over here. See how, like, when your candles get narrow like that? Hey, Derek, what's up, baby? Long time no see. When your candles get narrow like that, it's going to be really, really explosive, you know? And so you started to come out of that bad boy. This Arlo I'll be watching today for red to green also. This thing's had like 10 down days in a row. Yesterday was its first green day. You could see the push into the close. It started right around 2 p.m. You got the push to pull back to the 9 and then it go. Usually when you close like that, you may get kind of a dead cat bounce on this thing. A lot of these IPOs, what happens is, you know, there's a quiet period when you have an IPO. So they can't do anything with the thing. So for like a couple months, they may come drift down. But then when you start to round and you get your first series of green days, they start to pick back up. And so I kind of watch this one. We'll have an easy, low-risk kind of trade over here with what's going on. So, you know, we'll kind of take this thing for a little day trades. Keep SQ on the watch list. Actually, today, this thing's opening up red. You guys see this? You know, this thing very well could go red to green. The range on this has been just awesome the last few days, especially with the volume. We'll keep an eyeball on that thing. Yes, ARM has been a hoe. I've been watching this C-Dave now. It looks like we're at like a really nice kind of swing trade entry for some of you swingers. You know, you're right at this, what we'd call a breakout pullback play. So you kind of broke out of this high over here at 40. Now you've kind of pulled back to that support. And when you round and you close over the 9 EMA like that, that's like a classic kind of trigger for, that's a classic trigger for a swing trade. So that one looks actually pretty good. Lulu triggered yesterday also. So this one, now that it's kind of over this 160, should start to go. You have room to about 164 at the top of the Bollinger Band before you really run into any resistance. You can keep that thing in play. AMD's doing a little flagzilla here. Right now, it's just kind of one green day, one red day, one green day. This range is tightening up. You know, we'll watch this thing. Watch it on the hourly chart, right? To make sure that you guys are hitting the proper level of resistance. So what's happening is while it's under the flag, its spikes are getting faded off, right? So you're seeing that kind of action intraday. While you get the flag, the spikes are getting faded off. But once you get over this level of resistance, it should release it, and then you can start doing your intraday trading and kind of get that thing a little bit saucy. All right, so this is kind of junk for now. So the main focus today is going to be these pot stocks, IGC, and Tesla. You know, that's where we got to go with this. As always, it's Friday. You know, we had an awesome day on Monday, then a slight red day on Wednesday, then Tuesday, and then Wednesday was good, and Thursday we had a little profit give back. So it's been a little bit choppy today, this week for me. So I got to make sure, at least for myself personally, there's two things that were getting me in trouble. Like I was up $1,500 at the open yesterday. in the first 30 minutes, and I just started grinding away like small losses the rest of the day, like $100 here, $100 there. You know, when you start fucking around a little bit and you start to grind back some of those gains. And typically what's happening with me that I saw, you know, going through my trades yesterday, two things are happening to me that have been getting me in trouble. Is number one, I start grinding back just small losses towards the middle of the day. Is number one, the secondary plays. Like I get an awesome trade. You know, like we took like 10 points on my last shares of TLRY yesterday. And then, you know, what happens is, you know, I have like such a good trade and, you know, you should be done for the day. And instead, like I want to come back and kind of keep playing it. And midday, your midday play is never going to be as good as the opening play, right? The opening act of a stock is always where the fire is at. The midday doesn't. And so a couple things for me is going to be, you know, if I get them at the open, right, move on to some different stocks that haven't been going. That's just going to be the nature of the game. And then the second part is, you know, once I have, you know, some good profits in a particular stock, reduce the size on the rehit. So if I do rehit it, like say it breaks out end of day or something like that, then reduce the size on it, because that will at least prevent you from having, say, $1,000 profit on a stock, and then the next trade, if you lose all of it, right? So go in like half size on the next one. That way, if I lose it, still I got the $500. So I think that's going to be really, really important for today. Otherwise, you know, every single day this week, the market's been hot. We've been having good profits at the open. It's been this midday, boring kind of range that gets us in trouble. So let's try to stay out of that mid-range. I mostly blame Anthony for this. You know, we have such a consistency still. He brought us these degenerate small caps yesterday. And then you know what he does? After he makes his money at the open, he bails off and leaves us to fend for ourselves. So we'll have to stay away from those bad boys. Just kidding, Anthony. Love you. So that's it. Today's Friday. Let's go do what we do, man. You know how it goes. We always close strong on Fridays. We used to always lose on Fridays, but now Fridays are good days. So I got to go do what I got to do, as you know. My friends, it's been real. Let's go make some money.